let's be real. Ever since EA made the change from FIFA to FC, the quality, enjoyment, and just overall experience of the game has dropped drastically. Whether it be through AI defending, inconsistencies in gameplays, and just a lack of impactful content, along with many more vast issues. EA's player count has continued to drop over the past months and, dare I say, the past couple of years. And now with EA dropping its most recent EAFC Ultimate Team Foot Dive or Ultimate Team Deep Dive for the upcoming FC title, it has caused a huge rift and divide in the community, with many calling it a much needed patch that FC 26 should have had months ago, dare I even say since last year, and an embarrassment of a product for $1 billion company. And to be honest, I agree with both takes. I think both of the takes have the right merits to be even acclaimed from people. But you may be asking yourself, who's this person that's talking to me, telling me how they would see the improvement of FC through their eyes? And to be honest, I'm just a regular person. I'm just a person like you, a person whose passion for football exceeds the desire to want to stop playing it and kind of accepting the type of product that we receive year in, year out. Now, I'm not a pro player. I don't get 15 to no's every weekend. But what I do have is I've been playing Ultimate Team 6 2026, sorry, 2016, and FIFA since 2009. So I have been able to see the greatness that EA has been able to drop over the years, along with the disappointments. So, from my point of view, from my perspective, what I think EA can do with the time that they have remaining, if not maybe even do like a little update throughout the year, I think they can still improve it. So let's get into it, boys. Vamos. Now this is giving me flashbacks to presentations in college, man. I'm not gonna lie. So, boys, this is my perspective. This is what I think after before making this presentation, I never really took a look into the deep dive that EAFC did. I would watch a lot of the videos that Nick RTFM and AA Night Skills would make and kind of like see their perspectives because they're like people that I respect when it comes to being unbiased towards the game and wanting what's best for the game. Um, I think in the landscape of gaming now and today, you have to be innovative in a sense that allows you to take ideas from other games, right? The biggest example that I can give for a lot of people, we've all had an opportunity to play Fortnite, whether it be at its peak, whether it be right now. For the past, gosh, I don't remember when the game dropped. Maybe let's just say 10 years. I imagine 2016 it was still around, or at least started. It didn't initially start with reboot cards, right? That was Apex Legends. That was an EAFC title that had that. And they took that idea, Fortnite, Riot Games took that idea. Is it Riot Games? I think so. Took that idea, implemented it into their game, and included reboot cards. And that's what I'm hoping if this gets to EA. Take it just from a regular Joe, someone that's played the game, that's loved playing the game for so many years, that's tried different soccer games, be it goals, be it eFootball, be it PES when PES was relevant. Um, just someone that sees stuff from other games that I think can be given and brought into FC 27. Now, the first thing is tackling the core issues, right? What are the core issues? This idea that they kind of give almost like a sense of false positivity, right? Oh, we're going to fix this. This is like the biggest issue that we had last year, right? Kind of typical balances and nerfs that were should have been addressed in this year's game cycle. And I think one thing that Nick RTFM said very, very clear and AA9 Skills, if you're going to produce a new game, kind of like this last leg, let's say the last 3 months of the game, right? Because we go from team of the seasons to kind of the lull. We had the World Cup this year that had great content, and then footies. During that time, I think is the time when the user base is up, especially with the World Cup, that you should be testing different patches, seeing what works in the mechanics of the game, seeing what should be changed, and kind of listening to your community. But that is kind of like the false promise that they gave at the start of the year, saying that we listen to you when that isn't the case. Because people have been complaining about Bruiser. People have been complaining about AI defending. And I'm one of those. I get so annoyed playing the same teams, same tactics, same bruiser BS when a 5'5" or 5'6" woman player outbodies my 6'2" striker, let it be Gyökeres, just because of their positioning. It's just ridiculous. So I think for me, The biggest things that they need to do this year and address this year, one, you can't do early patches. I think the beta testing, when that occurs, I have had the opportunity, and I would call it a luxury, to be a beta tester for a lot of the games early on. And from the game that I play in beta versus the first alpha in the first week for the Ultimate Team, it's completely different. And oftentimes the beta plays so much better than the alpha. So I think they need to play their game. I heard a lot of times that the devs don't really play their game. Like, I don't know how you get hired for and accept that as a developer, as someone who creates a product. You're okay with creating a mediocre product every single year. I just don't know how consciously you would be able to be accepting of that, because I know myself, when it comes to making videos, when it comes to doing these type of things, I'm a perfectionist. I like putting out the best product that I know possible and being satisfied and being like, okay, I knew I did the best thing and I'm okay with that. So I think fixing the consistency, limit the early patches that changes the game drastically, and just play your game. Like, it just baffles me every year that someone's saying that. And I think this year, when I was coming up with ideas, when I was researching and looking at like Reddit threads and Twitter threads, and seeing what the community was saying as like what one of the key core issues are, and of course we all know it's been playstyles. I think since the change from attributes to playstyles, I think EA has been trying to be a little bit like 2K, in the sense where 2K has the badges. You have the Hall of Fame, the gold, bronze, it's Hall of Fame, and then you have the purple tier. I don't remember the purple tier. Sorry, not as fast. Well, I've played 2K this year, but still a little rusty in that sense. But I think this year, when I've had the luxury of playing with cards for this World Cup promo, without playstyles, because playstyles have just been a hassle and more tedious to put onto cards than ever. You can really feel when a card doesn't have a certain playstyle, they play differently. But I think they need to have it back where it was like with attributes, where attributes slightly elevate the ground floor of stats, in a sense, where like, oh, if I have Tiki Taka the playstyle, the passing is will be just a little bit crisper. You can feel the difference versus a player who does and doesn't have it. I remember early FIFAs like FIFA 17, 18, when I was looking for a winger, one of the attributes that I wanted was a finesse shot, because I knew if I was going to shoot an outside the box finesse shot, I would feel more confident with someone that has that finesse shot attribute than someone that wouldn't have it. So I think they need to kind of go back to that kind of like initiative of having the stats outweigh the playstyles, and playstyles just be a slight boost to whatever statistic it may affect. And maybe even do that where a tiki taka would affect or give it a slight boost to like short passing or even long passing or something along those lines. One of the coolest ideas that I saw was having all the players off the rip of the game, no playstyles, no playstyle pluses, and just have it like that. Have the players play like that. Have us get a feel for the game. And I think that was probably one of the most unique ideas that I saw that I never really thought of. And I think that's something that if EA wanted to do, since they're considering slowing down the power curve, I think that would be a great idea to implement, and have like when the promos come out, when the cards get upgrades, when you get Team of the Weeks, they start incorporating the attributes and playstyles. And then when it goes later down the line, include a playstyle plus, and then you like know that this player will be much better because they have that playstyle plus. Jesus Christ. So, this is something that I saw early on in the leaks and was interested in, because it was something when I wanted to make a video months back about my kind of wishes for FC27. This was one of them. From my understanding from people that have played the earlier Ultimate Teams, this is something that was included before. My approach to it is very, very similar to what 2K currently has in their system for collections. From what I saw the video after, like I said, I didn't watch the deep dive initially when I was making this presentation, thinking of the idea to create this video, and I saw the foot gallery or the in-game gallery. I personally see no sense to it, if I'm being for real. Yes, the idea of kind of like bringing the idea of like collecting cards when we were kids. A lot of us, I'm 26, a lot of us when we were younger, when Pokemon cards were much more accessible, it was the idea of like collecting the cards, collecting a book, and showcasing those kind of cards that you have to your friends, to your family, and being like, oh, look, I have this. I have the full set of EV evolutions. I have the full evolution of Pikachu or Charmander or Bulbasaur or the starter, the early gen, first gen starter Pokemons, like that type of stuff. So I just don't really get this rating. I don't get this total score. I don't really know what that's supposed to do. If they're supposed to show it off. Um, what I'm going to show you right now, really quickly, is 2K. Right, 2K. Like I said, if you're wanting to compete in the gaming industry, I think you have to take ideas from others. I think you have to take ideas, innovate them towards your game, and do it that way. So what this is this is a collection of greatness, right? From NBA. I believe they dropped this, don't quote me, early 2026, whenever they started to get Dark Matters. And there'd be challenges for you to get these players. It'd be, I think one of them was like hit 1,000 3-pointers. And so you would play the game, and these would be challenges that you would be able to get throughout the game, and you would get a vast number of players, right? So like for Steph Curry, you would get all these players for hitting 3-pointers. I never finished it. For Allen Iverson, it would be like scoring a number amount of points, and you would get this Allen Iverson after completing all these. But the biggest thing that I would hope EAFC takes from this is collections. Now, the player count and the number of players in this game and 2K are much lower than FC because football in itself is a global game. You have multiple leagues. 2K, you kind of just have the NBA. Maybe you have a set of international players, but you have Hall of Famers, you have old school players and players that have made an impact in the game. And when it comes to collections, what I wish EAFC would do is very simple. I think, was it FIFA 18, FIFA 19? Last time we had League SBCs. I think what a lot of us wish when it comes to promo teams, when it comes to the game itself, is having representation for the teams that we like in the game. And oftentimes with promo teams, it's recycled players. It's always the same players. You'll see the same Rafael Lau every 2 weeks, the same. I think one year was Dominic Soboslai. You'll see Messi because they want to sell packs. They want to sell packs. They want you to have the desire or the false hope that you're going to pack these players and pack these big name players. What I think EAFC should do for FC27, if not incorporated into FC28, right? Something like this, in a sense where you have a team of players. When it was back when the League SBCs were a thing, you would have to complete the League SBC, submit a full team of like Barcelona, Real Madrid, starting from, I want to say their bronze. It could be like their lowest rated cards, just a full team of Barcelona players. And in this sense, it would be like this, right? If we scroll down and we look at the teams, let me see where this is. Right here. No. Okay. We're going to have to cut this a little bit because I can't see. Let me see. Franchise rewards. Here we go. So it'd be like this, right? So this is the franchise. So if you were, let's just hypothetically say this is FC Barcelona, right? So you have all these players. You would have the Frankie de Jongs, the Pedris, Rafinhas, Lamine Yamals, all those players, and you submit all these players into this. You would then get, as in 2K, you would get, I believe this is a Ruby. No, it's not a Ruby. Whatever rating, it might be a Ruby. That's not the point. You would then complete and get kind of like a hero specific to the team. Now, I think this would be a very, very cool concept. I think this would be a unique concept. I think it rewards the people that want to have icons for their teams. For example, you can have a Santi Cazorla. You could have like a David Silva. You could have, for Barcelona, let's say you have a Ivan Rakitic. Kind of like those type of things, I think brings value to the market, but also brings value to the card. And I think the way that they should go about it, I don't think they should submit the players. I think it should be something where it's similar in NBA 2K. You lock the players in and they become untradeable. You can't sell them anymore. I think you can sell them for like just MT tokens, but that's pretty much it. And I think You can have that for each of the big five leagues. You can have that for each team. You have so many heroes already. You have the Hall of Foot coming out. You could potentially, like I said, you're $1 billion company. You could potentially pay the players for the rights, and they have those cards in the game. And it's a thing that we can work towards throughout the year. It's something that we can have it in the market. The players that are lower rated would still be very expensive, like they were in previous years, and would it keep the value because you would have to hunt for these cards to complete this collection for this team and get that special card. Like I said, it could be a Rakitic, it could be a David Silva, it could be something like that. And at the end of it, you could have a collection for that league that would give a league SBC, whether it be a player pick, that would be pretty cool. Like I remember one year it was Luis Suarez. You could have an SBC that could be pick one player from like a player selection of 10 players. And for you completing that league SBC, you get that one player. Something like that. Something unique, something different, something taking inspiration from another game and taking that and making that your own twist on it, right? So I think that would help the economy. I think it would give those low rated cards value throughout the year. And then it would be something similar. Try to do something similar to that for promo teams. 2K has that for promo teams. If you go into the collections and you look at this, for the Power Awaken promo, you have these high rated, 100 rated cards for 2K, but if you submit them all, you get a Hall of Fame badge option pack, right? If you go earlier seasons, if you go in the Rate Makers, you get a 95 plus option at, I believe this is like a Hidden Gems Pink Diamond, right? So you don't know what you could get. You could get crazy cards, but it gives you incentives and it gives value for the promo teams for the cards throughout the year. And it can even be like a player pick. Let's say submit or lock in 10 cards from the promo because you're going to have minimum 20 cards. You'll have one for a man and one for a woman throughout the year. 20 cards. So lock in 5 or 10. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to create an incentive for players to play the game. It's going to create that desire to want to pack and kind of have that look factor. See if like, oh, maybe I can get this foot scream Neymar if Neymar's in the game and Brazil's in the game. So I think that's something that EA can look at and kind of incorporate into their model into FC27, if not FC28. Now this is kind of like the biggest thing that I was talking about, gameplay tactics. One thing that Nick RTFM says, and I just quote him because I watch his videos very often, is kind of like the incorporation of playstyle is kind of hurting this. Now, I am the one that kind of takes what my mom taught me as a kid in a sense of like, you can talk sweet to me, but oftentimes actions speak louder than words. This is all nice. This is all really cool to see. Like, yeah, we can see the off balance dribbling. Yeah, we can see the improvements on shooting and manual defending and everything. But it's going to be different when we play it, right? You're testing it in such a small pot that once you open it to the public, you're able to see kind of the bugs, see kind of like the exploits, see what happens and see how players play with the game. So I think gameplay and tactics, yeah, it's nice. It's cool. Great changes to manual defending. I've always wanted manual defending to overtake AI defending. I think you need to have a skill gap in this game. I don't want to always have to come up against someone that just beelines it with their center mid, allowing their back line to just be AI defending. I think if you're wanting to have that as like a play style in this game, I think there has to be a higher risk to that and kind of have that high risk, high reward. Give the person that wants to manually defend a higher opportunity to be rewarded for them manually defending, and someone who wants to just let the AI defend, let them be more at a risk for manually defending. If you just want to create like something simple like that. I don't know the coding aspect of it when it comes to gaming. I did computer science. I'm a computer engineer. I know how it goes into coding and kind of that stuff, but I don't know how it goes into gaming. So I don't know if it's as simple as like some people say moving a slider or not. But I think that's something that they have to look into. And I did play eFootball this year during the break that I had with EA FC 26, and it was very refreshing to see the type of runs that they had for the AI. That the build up, the ability to play 1-2s, play quickly, and for the AI to not be incompetent in running and them just running in a straight line, them curving their runs, doing all that, like it says in the EA deep dive. If that's what they've had, cool. but let's see it. Let's see what they're able to produce. And I think the biggest thing, and I think Nick RTFM talked about it. It's been something that I've seen recently in 2K. Have unique like body types. Have unique player models. The coolest thing about NBA 2K is that you have that. When you go and play with the early, I believe one of the early players for the last 2 years has been a Miami Heat number 6 LeBron. You will see that in game he looks like LeBron from the Miami Heat. He has a number 6. He has that. In eFootball, they have the unique, distinct body types. They have the hairs when with the player models and things like that. So that's one of the goals and one of the hopes that I have for EAFC 27 to do that, to make it feel unique, to have a flashback Neymar, to have a flashback Messi, to have a ultimate scream, let's say Arturo Vidal with his insane mohawk, or Paul Pogba with his iconic blonde patch for when he was in the World Cup or when he was playing for Juventus, or even for Manchester United when he had all those informs. Something to give like uniqueness to the game so the game doesn't just feel stale and the same every single time. I think that's really, really huge for EAFC. And just to kind of like continue on promos, I think EAFC dropped something saying that they're going to do 5 less promos. Um, like I said, when I was initially making this video, I looked at it. I think their promo progression each year went up a lot. They initially started with 1 week promos, then they went to 2 week promos. Then they went from like, gosh, like 9 promos to like 15 to 20 in the most recent years. I think what EA needs to do, and I think what they should showcase to the player base, is that this is our calendar for the year. This is our key pillars of promos every year. Us as a player base, we've known that. I've known it since FC 2016. You have any promo during Halloween, right? You have Foot Scream, which has made a comeback in the recent years. You're gonna have a Black Friday promo most likely because they want you to spend money and spend your money on the packs, and kind of have that. That was kind of most recent this time. One of the promos that I think they should make a comeback this year is Once to Watch. That was always awesome to see. I remember one year, I think it was Cristiano Ronaldo moved to Juventus, and he kept getting informs, and that one promo card that Once to Watch AA9 skills had, and it kept getting upgraded. And I thought that's always cool because it gives you an incentive to watch the games if you're not really a huge football fan and you just like playing the game. And it kind of keeps you in taps with what the game is going on with, right? So I think you're gonna have any promo for Christmas time. I think you need to have Foot Miss, this winter wild cards, that type of stuff. It's just not the same vibe. Give us Foot Miss. Give us players for the each day. Give us those 3 SBC players that we want to complete. See what we can complete. Drain our clubs for what's coming up. I think you need to have a rating refresh at the start of every year. I think that would be kind of a cool pillar. Giving downgrades to players, giving upgrades to other players for their performance for the first half of the season. You're always going to have a TOTS promo. You're always going to have a Foot Birthday promo. You're always going to have a Team of the Year promo. I'm trying to see what other promos I'm missing. I think Movember was always really, really cool. In the early FIFAs, you would just give cool, unique cards to the people that had facial hair. And yeah, I just think you need to have key pillar promos that are the big promos throughout the year that you should focus on. Give the best product and the best content around that time. And then in between those, fill them with smaller promos, fill them with UCL promos, right? That's always the biggest thing that we as football fans like to watch. If it's not a Euros or a World Cup, we like to see the big compete against each other. So I think having those UCL promos, having something unique. Shapeshifters was always a favorite of the community when that happened. So having 5 less weeks of promos isn't really a lot, right? If you think about it, they do 2 week promos. That's already 2 promos in a sense right there. And then like a one half of like a 2 week promo. So if they want the market to be healthy, go back to 1 week promos, have pillar promos, and then have smaller promos throughout, mixed in between the two, mixed in between the big pillar promos. I think them saying that they're adding XP after every game is very, very big. I think that happens with any game that you play, any progression. Um, I like that because you're not always focused on completing in-game challenges rather than just being rewarded playing the game. If you go and play Apex Legends, if you go and play Fortnite, if you go and play Overwatch, which my girlfriend and I have been playing, you just get simple battle pass progression. You get XP progression for your team. I think adding that into the game is a good, healthy quality of life change. And just improving server stability. Like I said, inconsistent gameplay. If anyone logs on to Fortnite and plays 10 games, you know what you're going to get with those 10 games. You're going to get consistent gameplay. If you log on to Apex Legends, God be it, it's an EA title, it's an EA product. Might get cash lost in the game, but you know what you're going to get when you're playing that game. So I think having that consistency of gameplay will help the game a lot, will help the player base a lot, and will just improve the overall enjoyment of the game and not being like, oh, the gameplay's slow today. Oh, I can't connect a pass from A to B because the gameplay's heavy. I can't turn because the gameplay's heavy. Like, really? Like, come on. We're in 2026. You're a $1 billion company. Investing in servers shouldn't be like your biggest number one complaint or not want to do as a $1 billion company. So yeah, just like an overall, this is crazy. I've been doing this like this. So if we go back, let me see this. If this will let me do this. I fumbled, boys. I'm sorry. I fumbled. I'm sorry. So this is what I was talking about. That. So just to like sum it all up in a simple sense, let's just have the base stats outplay the play styles, outplay the attributes. Let's have the base stats be like the thing that we mainly look at. Previous FIFA iterations, you would always try to find the fastest player because you know that they would outrun them. I don't want someone with 93 pace getting caught up to by someone with 76 pace just because they're lengthy and they have those kind of control types, I think is what they're called. Make the menus rewarding. Let's kind of have more tradable rewards, not so many untradable rewards. I think in previous iterations of FIFA, when you would go up a division, you would get like a certain number of coins. I think incorporating that back again would be like a healthy, just quality of life update. And just finding a way to make it balanced for having the cards be long term, right? Like I think the collection idea, taking inspiration from 2K and doing it that way would give a lot of cards that are lower rated a sustained value throughout the year, especially with promo cards and everything. As more people play, as more packs are open, the market's healthy, you're able to trade. I think even adding trades back into the game would be really, really cool. I've never had the opportunity to experience that in any FIFA, any iteration that I've had to play throughout from Ultimate Team 2016 all the way until now for 10 years. I never had the opportunity to experience that. I think if EA really, really, if they're looking at their product of FC27 and their main concern is that our numbers have plummeted in our profits, the simple solution, make the game free. Look at what Fortnite has done. Look at what Apex Legend has done. I mean, Apex Legend, let's be for real, isn't the best. But look at Overwatch. Overwatch 2 was free, right? Having a free game and having almost what eFootball does and having a game that kind of recycles and refreshes every year, it just incentivizes people to play the game more. It incentivizes new people to try out the game. But I think it also incentivizes people to be like, oh, I didn't pay anything for this game. Let me go buy a couple packs with the money that I would have paid for this game. Let me buy the battle pass, right? The battle pass is $10. Let me use that for the battle pass. And you can have battle pass, the season pass. You can have a season. You can have 6 or 7 seasons, and right then and there, you have the $70 that someone would have paid for the game, made right there. Or you would have it from the packs. Just make the game free. It's like the easiest solution you can do. I doubt you would lose a lot of money. I think it would bring you a lot more money because people enjoy spending money on good games. So I don't know, man. That's kind of like my take on it. I really hope that FC27 and what they say proves me wrong. But oftentimes in the past couple of years, they say one thing, the game is another thing. Like I said, you can talk nice to me, but I'm going to look at the actions that you do more than what you say. So yeah, boys, I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think is your number one fix for FC27, what you think the future of the franchise is. I think if we really wanted to boycott it, I remember one year we did the boycott on the packs. I think Ozio and a lot of other creators said that they weren't going to spend packs anymore because of the changing odds. I think if we wanted to as a community, we could probably do something like that. But it's just my take as a normal person that loves playing football games, that loves watching a Champions League match, and then having the desire to play it. But then I have to jump on this game, and it's just like I personally haven't experienced a game as boring in these past two game iterations of FC25 and FC26 of like a football game than this game. And this game has just made me just no longer want to play it at times. I like doing it because I have some content coming up that I find really enjoyable that I want to make gameplay from. But aside from that, if that wasn't it, I stopped playing this game months ago. I would go weeks on end without playing. Uh, but right now I'm back playing because I want to make some fun content. But yeah, you guys just let me know what you think. And yeah, man, hopefully something happens good for us this year. If not, just another year of disappointment and lacklusterness from $1 billion company. So I'll see you soon, boys. Peace.